Like the shape?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's laid out, it's nested. Let me find a little smaller.
Is this gonna go on that small piece over there?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna try. Let's see, let's try 3-inch leaf, see what it says. Yeah, that's the one I want. All right. All right. Now, we've had trouble with it working, so I don't know what's going on with it right now. So. It may not work. Let me take that.
You wonder what you over there do? What exactly was that? Why wasn't like
Yeah, I didn't. Thing about this, it's not intuitive. Why we require the safety belt.
Yeah.
Actually, you don't have to wear it. You have regular. This is 6 leaves. Is that a minute? It's like a minute. Okay, so that gives you some idea. Then you can see, you can take that, and we create what you call a maquette or a model.
So that's just a model of what will be used in the future.
Yeah, that's right. So you can see it's very similar to like what we have there, except with this we have a pipe running through, and these would have These would be some kind of base foundations that we would
Okay.
have.
Is that a model as well?
Nicely air dry. There we go. So, you each get two, and if you want to give one to a friend, have fun.
Wow, thank you.
So we actually designed the leaf, we program it, we do the whole thing. And you can see we do different sizes.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're doing big scale, little scale.
Mm.
You can see what we use outside with the other scale.
Yeah.
This
We
is
do quite a bit
awesome.
with it.
And do you guys have like a program to make them ones out?
I see now.
You all know what plasma is, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Third state of electricity.
Yep.
What are the other two?
What's in there?
Do you know what the other two? Yeah, yeah.
I can't remember.
You know it, don't you?
I can't remember.
It's Jeopardy here. It's Jeopardy. You have magnetic
Yeah.
and static.
Yes.
So lightning is static,
Mm.
and
Is it? I heard it was
it's
plasma.
a chart. Well, that's the third state,
Exactly.
but it happens. It's called ball lightning,
Uh-huh.
right? And then the other one is magnetic,
Mm.
which is the wire.
Mm.
You know, your generator that
The normal
runs
ones, yeah.
electricity. Yeah.
Okay.
That was in the middle. I'll say
Far back enough?
So this is what we used to do.
Oh,
We used to do this all by hand.
That's harder like all the time.
Yeah. Oops. And you can see we have little mistakes that happen.
Yeah.
Who asked the question? Who asked the question?
What do you mean?
The paper question.
I mean, we're not doing it now.
No, I was just wondering who.
Oh, I haven't here.
Okay.
So this is a bronze leaf. Then we can even add detail. you can start to see what you can do. Something, a simple shape. Then we can even do something a little special. So that could be, your keychains and that. What?
So cool.
Huh?
Can we keep this?
You what?
Can we keep this? Can we do
Oh yeah, you keep
a
that.
Jeopardy question to who keeps it?
Yeah, that's your.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, I get my 2 O's back. I know.
All right, good question. Let's go in the office. Go in the office.
All right.
Anything else you want to know before we leave the studio?
I really like having you show us around because I always kind of wanted to see how they make sculptures in real life because sculptures are like beautiful. I mean, there's pots, like pottery, and then there's
Clay.
sculptures. And
Right.
sculptures are just when you go to a sculpture park or when you go to like Seagrove or like Asheville where they have like a studio or like a museum with sculpture, you're just like eager to like go in and see everything that's made.
We do a studio tour once a year. It's usually in October. I believe it's the second Saturday of October. We didn't do it this year, but because we were in Portland, Oregon. But we've done it every other year, and we just open the studio just to show people what we do. Now, there's all different types of sculpture. There are people that do figurative sculpture, and that's where they'll start with a clay and sculpt it. Then there are people, I'm a, what I call a constructivist type sculptor, where I add materials, and, and planes and sheets and all that kind of stuff. Then there's other people that are conceptual sculptors, go out and draw a line in the middle of a field. Then, no, man, don't laugh at that. But the Brits were doing it 4,000 years ago. The line chalk drawings, you'll see.
Yeah.
That's
true, yeah.
Yeah, so, okay, and then you have, carvers, that it's basically a subtractive, which is a long tradition. Clay is an additive and subtractive. My thing is I've actually taken metalworking and made it into a sculpture. So you can see, I'm making gates and they're functional, but yet they're not functional.
Exactly,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So I make gates because what I find it's a great way to get people into my art, pardon the pun. They can get into my art. They can walk through the gate.
Okay.
All right?
That's true.
So, sometimes it's real hard to people, I don't know what this modern art's all about. I'll give you a real good example. We were in North Wilkesboro delivering a sculpture, and I had one of my gates on there. Old gentleman came out, chewing tobacco, spit on the ground, and said, "So what's this all? What's this supposed to be?" And I says, "Well, it's a gate." And he goes, "I know that." I says, "Oh, well, this is a gate called Immigrant Gate. It's about my father coming to this country." He walked around again, spit on the ground again, yeah, I like it. And I walked away. Now, that was probably the best comment I ever got in my life. It's better than Art in America or anything because I touched every man. You know, when you can touch the person on the street and they get what you're doing, then you're really making great art. So that's just my comment on the arts.
That's true. Yeah. The good thing is, like, most of us all do art, so we know what you're talking about.
Okay, so who you? Now, wait a minute. Are you guys at McGinnis?
Mm-hmm.
So who do you have there?
Garrett, Miss
Miss
Garrett.
Miss Garrett? Oh, yeah, Martha. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's great. Yeah,
Well, I
we did
just got-
projects together.
I just
Tell her
got
that you
there.
came here, okay?
Yeah, me, I just got to the school. I'm new here.
I'm
Okay.
in
So,
two
yeah.
of her classes, APR
Okay.
history and theory.
Yeah, she'll go, damn it, I should have gone with you. Yeah,
I'm in her pottery 2 class.
okay, all
So
right.
she was the one who told me about it.
Okay, now you guys draw?
I do.
I don't draw that much.
No, no.
Yeah.
You need to draw. That's the whole secret. That's the whole secret. And you need to do life drawing. That's the whole secret. I get people coming and going, I can weld anything, but I can't design anything. I said, great, go take life drawing. And they go, what are you talking about?
Exactly, yeah.
No, you do life drawing. In fact, I still go with life draw. I used to do it with my kids. We did life drawing. And what it does is it opens the world of observation for you and proportions. Because you know, when a drawing doesn't work, what's the problem? The nose is too long, the arms are too big, the gesture's all wrong, you know, and that's just as important in this piece, in creating that, as it is to have a figure standing in front. What is the gesture? And there's the gesture. And then what's the detail? What's the arms, legs, and feet? Abstract, real, it's all the same. Don't let anybody kid you. All right, come on, let's talk about other, you have some questions. I got some chairs there, you can sit down. By the way, have you guys been to the old Henry Hotel?
I've been to the Green Valley Grill over there. Did you do you did the chairs
Yeah.
and the
And all the
the
stuff.
Green Valley Grill?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Okay. So, what kind of religious pieces in town?
I have
Seen
not.
most of I mean, like, some of them, yeah.
Would you like a list of them?
I would love a list.
Okay, you ready?
Someone has a
Okay, there's
Wait,
the,
okay.
okay, there's the cross that's at St. Pius, of course. There is also a cross at St. Andrew's Episcopal, right next to Our Lady of Grace. We did a small bronze Celtic cross there. Holy Trinity has some of my benches and gateways. St. Paul's has my baptismal font. And then, let's see, other churches here in town. There's a non-denominational we did, it's the, what's it called? Oh my God, it's so long ago. It's, you know, so many of these we did 13, 14 years ago. But we did a half globe with, it's the World Universe Church, or I forget that too. So yeah, we've done quite a few, all right, here in town. I think my website has some of them listed too.
Yeah, we
So-
saw those
You saw
on the
that.
website.
Right. Okay, what question?
Well, let's see. Let's go to the first one here. Is when did you start sculpting?
It was October 23rd, 10:30 in the morning, 1969.
When did it come to you? Why did it come to you?
Oh, I was failing college. I literally, the night before, the RA sat down and says, you got three Fs, no, you got 2 Fs and 3 Ds, if you cannot get your grades up, because I was on conditional acceptance at my college, you can't get them up by Christmas, you will be gone. So the next morning, I'm going to the philosophy class that was at 10:30 in the morning, and I'm standing there waiting to go in the class.
Yeah.
And a door was cracked open, and I saw a person in there sculpting. And she was creating a Madonna and Child, and I said, "You gotta tell me everything about this." And she goes, "No, I have to go teach a class, but come back tomorrow." And came back the next day and gave me stuff to read, and I read it cover to cover. And next day, and I would be there every day. And by the way, I passed. I stayed. Made it through freshman year. When I get 1 B, 3 C's, and 1 D, but I got through. And by sophomore year, I was taking sculpture classes.
Mm.
So, and the school I was at didn't have an art department. It had art classes. So, what I did was, it was in Syracuse, New York, and the school had a, what they call an agreement with Syracuse.
Oh, okay.
So I went to Lemoyne College, which is a small Jesuit school, and I was able to go over and get the art classes at Syracuse, that's where I learned all about welding and bronze casting, and so that was really great. So my senior year, I spent the whole time at Syracuse doing artwork. Then I got then I applied to go to the master's program. I couldn't quite make it because they needed a BFA. So I got a year scholarship to go to Syracuse, picked up 36 hours of credit in art, and the following year I got an assistantship, and the following year I got a fellowship. So Syracuse was a great place. I really learned a lot there.
Is it good for like art majors?
It was fantastic. Yeah, it's really fantastic.
Okay.
Now I'll tell you, the world has changed a lot. That was 40 years ago.
Yeah, I
And
can see that.
what has happened in the art world there are less and less people that do this,
Yeah.
which is good for me.
You're unique.
Well, think about it. You know, who are you gonna call?
That's true.
That's it. Sculpture Busters, we're here. I kid you not. We've really become that. It's
Everyone calls
it's-
you for stuff, right?
Yeah, it's like, you won't believe this. We have this pile of steel here. Do you want it? No, not really, you know. Or we have this broken sculpture. Or we have a sculpture. We don't know whose it is. And we've actually become references. You know, like, oh, I know whose piece that is. I remember when that was made, and pulled it out of the weeds and fix it up. So, yeah, yeah. So, but that's doing it for 40 years.
Mm.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, go ahead.
what do you, let's just start with, why did you make the cross at St. Pius?
Well, it was a job.
How did they contact you for it?
Actually, they wanted a cross in front of the old church. They needed something, and a couple of people suggested me, and I think it was Mary Ellen Souls that said, "No, we really need to call Jim. I think he could really do this." So I went in, gave them a proposal. In fact, I actually made a little scale model. Now, we may still have that scale model someplace upstairs in a box.
Oh, wow.
That's not heaven, it's just a box, okay? But we keep all the models, and so like we probably have about 400 or 500 models upstairs.
Insane.
Wow.
So, yeah, so anyways, so they asked me to do it, and the size and the proportion was absolutely critical for where it was going outside. Now, the shape of it is some pretty hard geometry, but if you look at it carefully, there's actually a perfect triangle.
Mm.
So it's really made up of perfect triangles, which, if you think about it, it's the Trinity. So the cross really represents the Trinity. In fact, it was interesting. I was looking at it, and I said, why did I? Oh, yeah, I remember now. So, yeah, you could say it really has the mystical properties of the Trinity, the perfect triangle. And if you take that shape and you manipulate it into like a tetrahedron, then that becomes, then you can make squares and round shapes and all that. By the way, the tetrahedron is the same thing that Buckminster Fuller used to create the geodesic dome. So what are the basic structures or architectural elements? There's the post, the lintel, the arch, and the only new basic architectural element is the geodesic dome. So in 2,000 years, we didn't invent anything since then. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So in some ways, it's kind of mystical. So
Awesome. Let's see. How long did it take you to make the cross?
geez, I don't know. It was 1989. I'll tell you what we did have trouble with. We had the whole thing anodized, and we had some ghost images that showed up on the anodizing. It was a problem with the how things were finished, and we had to redo it again. And so I remember making trips to Charlotte to have it re-anodized several times.
Oh, what do you mean by like ghost images?
Well, that was originally, it had a bronze kind of finish, and that bronze finish had light areas. They had, so they call it ghost shapes, you know.
Okay.
It wasn't the Holy Spirit. Okay, but we had to go back and do it over again. So it broke my heart when I saw that they painted it.
Did they paint it by themselves?
Well, when they moved it, they painted it. They probably scarred it when they moved it, so they just repainted it. But that's okay, you know, it still looks good.
You still have your signature on there
Yeah.
somewhere, right?
Yeah, nobody told them that you can take the two bottom panels out and get to the access bolts. They pulled the whole footing and everything out of the ground when they moved it.
I heard they moved the old cross from the old church to the new school,
Right.
and I was told that for the new school you kind of redesigned it for them.
No, I didn't do anything.
didn't?
to that. No.
That's what
a
they
myth.
told me.
That's a myth.
That's what they told me.
Okay, now you're getting the truth here. Yeah, that's a myth. That's all right, we'll keep the myth going.
Okay.
Get more credit.
So you didn't help move the cross at all?
No, they didn't even contact me that they were taking it out. That's all right. That's okay. They dealt with it. You know, things happen. That's something else I've learned. You know, that big piece that you saw out there that rocks back and forth?
Yeah.
That was actually purchased back in 1982. I was commissioned to do it. And it was the Equitable Life Insurance Company down in Charlotte that had it. And it was there for almost 20 years. And I got a call, well, it was about 12 years ago. And they said, look, the Equitable Company moved. This sculpture's sitting out here. We're tearing the building down. Do you want the sculpture? And I said, yeah, sure, man, I'll get it. And because if not, we're taking it to the scrapyard. And that happens a lot. So that's why I talk about orphan sculptures. We'll find out about that quite many times. That,
Okay.
oh my God, it's got to get moved. They're tearing the building. Wait a minute, we'll go in there and we'll rescue. So we have a sculpture rescue program. How's that?
Pretty cool.
It's like, and then we find homes for it.
Okay. So you don't keep
So-
all of them here, right?
Huh?
You don't keep all of them here.
Well, recently we are, but we're trying to find. We've been more in the rescue mode than we have been in the
Giving
finding the home.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Don't we foster art patrons? You know. Yeah. All right. What else?
Okay, I was gonna ask if you were close with anyone at St. Pius, or did they just call you up for this sculpture, or did you know someone personally at St.
Oh
Pius?
no, that was Mary Ellen Souls. She was Mary was the one that recommended me and asked me to do a proposal. I think she was on the parish council back then, so that was it.
Okay.
How did you know her?
Well, she worked at the art museum in Raleigh. her and my wife Kathy used to commute to Chapel Hill when she worked at the Ackland Art Museum. And we kind of knew each other from the art world. So, well, no, we knew ourselves a lot from the art world, but also I taught with her husband, who was in the classics department at UNCG. I used to teach at UNCG. That's what got me to Greensboro.
What did you teach?
I taught sculpture, design, welding, bronze casting, a little bit of drawing. The design, we used to do the crazy cardboard boats. We would do cardboard. Actually, I didn't say boats. They had to create something out of cardboard that could hold 155 pounds. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then, that was the sea. Then you had to traverse a course in Piney Lake, which is all gone now. But that was really cool. It was really interesting. And everybody was like, well, that means a boat. I said, I didn't say boat. I said, it has to hold 155 pounds. It's going to carry you on a course. It was a real learning experience. What happens to cardboard when it gets wet?
It
It's
starts like,
mushy.
yeah,
Yeah.
it starts like falling down.
I had people making tri-hull catamarans with rigid wing sails that sailed around. Oh, he got an A. Yeah. Then we used to do other cardboard things that were a lot of fun. Like we did cardboard furniture. We did cardboard instruments.
Ooh.
How's that work?
Oh, I had people making organ pipes. Of course, drums, all kinds of kazoos. They had to do Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Oh, they did not.
Yeah. In fact, there is a movie, there's a tape somewhere that Channel 2 did where we did a concert of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star with everybody with a kazoo type thing.
That's insane.
So all of a sudden, I had people making horns, trumpet horns and all that kind of stuff. Basses, thump, 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 strings. Oh, they could only use cardboard and paper. So they found paper strings that were able, you weren't allowed, let's see, I didn't allow duct tape. It was Elmer's glue and package tape you could use. You should have seen the flying machines we made.
You did not.
Yeah, we did flying machines. They had to transport 10 pounds. I didn't want people in them. 10 pounds, 50 feet. They had to fly it. And you can do that any way you want. I had one person make a hot air balloon all out of paper, and we got a torpedo heater, heated it up, and it raised up, and it picked up the 10 pounds, and it floated right across the golf course and landed right in the middle of Acock in front of a cop car. But those were the design classes I used to teach at UNCG.
That is awesome.
Yeah. It was always, these classes were always fun because they would start out with a concept. Like, you're making it too, you're just getting too complicated. Oh, gosh.
The phone.
Yeah, that's not good. You're making it too complicated. And we always do when we design. We over-design. But sometimes you need to make the first one and you throw it away. And then you make the second one better and the third. How many airplanes did the Wright brothers make?
That's true.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it meant a lot. And every time they remade it, they went, we can do it better. We can add this. We can change that. Yeah.
Okay.
Always had
Yeah.
something effects.
Yeah. Because what they were going for was flight. And then once you achieve flight, well, first of all, they had no. By the way, read that book. It's a great book.
Which
about
one?
the Wright brothers.
Do you know who it's by?
It's David McCullough. It's great. Yeah, and I used to tell my design students, we would sit in the foundry. I said, we have all the technology right here to build an airplane to fly away. And they all went, oh, you're crazy. I said, well, what did the Wright brothers have?
Yeah.
Bandsaw, a table saw, wood, wire. We even have a foundry where we could cast the aluminum block. which they cast an aluminum block and made an engine. I mean, so we have everything here. That, you know, so the excuse is your knowledge, how much knowledge you have.
That's true.
And that's always true about most things. Now we all want to 3D print it.
Oh no, yeah.
you know. But wouldn't that be cool? 3D print
Airplane?
an airplane that you can fly in.
Is there a printer that big?
Yeah, there's printers the size of this room now. But you do it in pieces.
Exactly.
You do it in pieces with real good glue. Yeah. Anyways,
The world's
Yeah.
made of printed stuff now.
do you know about the Gossamer albatross?
I do not.
I think I've heard of it.
You've heard of
I
it.
think
They
so.
crossed the English Channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a bicycle powered.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
All that was aluminum,
Mm.
duct tape. Well, actually, it was clear and mylar
Exactly.
and clear tape, and they literally taped this guy inside there, and he's pedaling like crazy, and the thing took off. You know, it's going like 3 miles an hour, and they had to cross the English Channel. I mean,
Exactly.
yeah, no, it's a great story. Bless you.
Okay.
All right,
Huh? Just
all
one.
right,
I know.
all right.
She starts to like.
I usually do like 6. Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
So, I want to ask something else. I want to ask you about. When did you get this building, this factory?
All right. Well, we got this shop in 2005. It was actually 2004 when we got the bank loan for the old space. We used to be down on East Washington Street. You know where the IRC is?
I think I do.
Interactive Resource Center.
I might.
You know where?
I think so.
Yeah, on Washington Street, East Washington. It's the day center for homeless. You can do your wash, and they find jobs, and they give you a mailbox. Anyways, we used to be across the street in those buildings, and we were all set to buy that property, and that's when we found out 2 days before they had sold it. So, so you get 1 day to cry in your beer, and the next day I came in and I says, "Well, what do you want?" And I said, "Well, I want a studio with light." You notice our shop has lights, especially in the shop area.
Mm.
I wanted heat. We didn't have heat for 21 years. It got cold in the winter. We wanted a bridge crane to move stuff, and we wanted an office space. And we held to those 4 things, and eventually we found this property. And you all need to see the Millennium Gate downtown. It's on the corner of February 1 and Green Street. And the reason why you need to see that, we did that gate back in 2000,
Mm.
and the foundation was done by a construction company for free called Hamlet Construction. And I ran into them several years later, 3 years later, 4 years later, and I said, "You know, guys, I don't know what I'm gonna do." And they said, "Well, why don't we build you a shop?"
They built you this.
And I said, you mean we can build it cheaper than you can buy an old building?" And sure enough, they did.
That's insane.
Well, no, it's
generous.
it's the reality. You know, everybody thinks an artist's supposed to get an old building and fix it up. And well, yeah, that's true. But I wanted to make artwork, not fix up an old building.
Mm.
And that's another thing, you know, always staying focused on what is your goal? What is your mission? What's your mission in life? What do you want that mission to be? And that's why getting through college was easy. I wanted to be a sculptor. It was real easy. I knew what courses I had to take. I knew what courses I shouldn't take.
Mm.
I knew exactly, you know, where I wanted to go and how I wanted to pursue it.
Mm.
So I guess you say that's my passion. All right, what else?
I'm curious back to, let's see what we got here. You were asked to do that. I have one here that was, what inspired you to make the cross? But did anything catch your attention? Did they specifically ask for the design, or did you come up with the way it was formed?
I just came up, and again, it was really the whole idea of the Trinity and the power of the triangle. But you guys know about the golden section and all that stuff? Have you studied that?
I don't think we have
I
yet.
have not yet.
Do you know what the golden section is? It's the proportion found in nature.
No, I don't
Actually, I think I might have heard of it, but I'm not sure.
Well, it's, you know, the movie screen, the format for a movie screen, they had to decide on how big it should be, height and width.
Yeah.
And they used the golden section for that because it's a natural proportion found in nature. And it's 3 to 5, or I forget what the ratios are. And like our body is full of these proportions. For example, this distance from here to here is the same, is the proportion from here to here, and from here to here. And in fact, we're working with, hold on a minute, let me show you something. Greek dividers, which shows you proportion. For example, here, stretch your arm out. Yeah, see your elbow. Get your elbow.
Okay.
There you go. Okay, there's your elbow, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so the proportion of that will be,
Oh my gosh.
and you can do the same thing with the face. How, let's do the face. From here, you can see where the eyes fall, the width. So when you're figure drawing, these are the proportions that you're understanding, how they work. And once you understand those proportions, these are, so like a good leaf, a leaf actually has the same proportions.
Yeah, I've heard the leaf thing.
Here, where was my, do we have, well, even these, here, let me see that, yeah. Let's see if I did it right, okay? This should be the right proportion. Well, it's a little small. Okay, but I think these are probably closer.
There we go. Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, and you can, like there's the golden rectangle, and there's the golden spiral, which is also found in the chambered nautilus, in seashells.
Yeah, I've heard the
Okay.
seashells one. Yeah.
Okay, pine cones, they also have the spirals and stuff. So, I mean, the Greeks dealt with this for years. In fact, my hypothesis is they didn't own a ruler, they only owned this, and everything was built off a proportion of whatever the architect said was going to be the proportion, you know, the benchmark. So, anyways, that's getting off the topic. Go ahead.
So you made a lot of different crosses and sculptures for different churches. Do you have a favorite?
No. No, they're all great.
They're all great.
Yeah, they're all great.
What was your latest one that you've made?
The St. Mary's. St. Mary's over on, made that one for Good Friday. We did the Stations of the Cross. That's actually my favorite, and I'll tell you why. It was when we were over up by in the old shop. There was a man run over by the train, and he was killed. And where he was run over, we found these pieces of steel. I mean, it was like his legs we found. It was really kind of strange. So I had them, and I was doing the Stations of the Cross with Charlie Haas, and so I was given Jesus is nailed to the cross. So we got 2 big pieces of timber, and I designed the cross and the. Do you need to change cameras?
No, I had to restart another video because I'm at like 4 gigabytes.
Oh, I
on
got
the
you.
other video.
Okay. So anyways, so what we did was, for the Station of the Cross, we assembled it there and stood it up. And it's scrap pieces of steel, and the steel that was found where the guy was run over by the train, and it's Jesus is nailed to the cross, and we stood it up right there. In fact, I have to go see them. We're going to use it in a Taizé thing at Our Lady, at Pius next Saturday. So
What's happening at Pius next Saturday?
they're going to do a Taizé service after the 5 o'clock. You guys know about Taizé?
I've never been to Pius before.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
maybe.
All right. Well, Taizé it's a whole movement in Europe right now of it's almost like repetitive chant music that's really wonderful. So, once you know the 5 words and the 20 notes, and it's all how you say it, it's pretty neat. So, if you want to do that, do the
cool.
Taizé. Okay, so what else?
I'm gonna do one of her questions. I like your one down here. It's like, why did you? Well, I guess they kind of told you. Why did you pick this spot for your building?
Instead of like Seagrove or
Well, let me tell you
Georgia.
something. We were going to go all over. We were looking all over the county. My wife teaches at Elon, so
really?
Wow.
yeah.
You should teach.
That's-
Well, she teaches biology there.
I'll tell
And
my cousin.
okay, so we were thinking we would maybe move towards Gibsonville and sell the house and build a studio and the house, and I don't know, buy a house with land. And we went around, and Kathy says, no, don't do that, because in 10, 11 years I may not be working there, and I really want to stay in Greensboro. So then we did some basic business stuff. I went through all of the people that my clients that I had done work with, and I categorized them all as far as, are they public, or are they commercial, whatever they are. And they says, now, which one of these would be affected by where my location is? None of them. I mean, they were going to come and have the work done wherever I was. So that was a good sign. So, the day, I told you the second day when I sat down and looked at what I wanted. I literally drove down this road into this lot. And I didn't even know it was for sale. I said, boy, this place would be perfect for me. And I didn't, the lot across the street, there was a for sale sign, but there was no for sale sign here.
Oh, so you thought it was like the other place, like across the street?
Yeah, and I says, well, that's too big, but this place would be perfect. And we just kind of looked at it, and there was no sign. So about 6 months later, realtor brought me to this spot. And I said, you gotta be kidding, this is for sale? He goes, yeah, wait a minute. There's the for sale sign. It was under a bunch of weeds and everything.
Oh my god.
So we went to Chicago. Kathy was giving a talk there. And I had to make a decision what to do. Part of it was I was 55. When you're 55, actually I was 52. When you're hit 50, there's all this subliminal information about what you're supposed to do, and retire and stop doing everything and all this crap. And so we went to Chicago, and Kathy gave a presentation. I was her Vanna White. I had to crack coconuts for her because she was doing a thing on tropical gardens and tropical fruit and how much of it's in our life. So anyway, she goes, all right, here's your reward for being Vanna White. She goes, there's a guy speaking at 3 o'clock. His name is Norman Vaughn, and he's going to speak about going with Admiral Perry to the South Pole. Well, I'm a history nut. I go, oh my God, this guy's got to be 92, 97 years old. I says, I got to go see, So sure enough, I sat in the front row, and he's talking about how he was the head dog musher, how he quit Harvard and went with Perry and spent 2 years, went to the South Pole, and they hauled 60 tons worth of equipment from the ship to the base camp with dogs.
Just dogs?
Just dogs.
Yeah, just dogs. So anyways, he finishes talking. I raise my hand and I go, Mr. Vaughn, what do you do now? He says, I still mush dogs.
Oh my god.
I said, Kathy, we're going to go build a studio. What's
There you
this
go.
retirement crap? It's like people, what am I? It's like I had the epiphany. I also realized the price they were asking for the land was way too much because not all this land is usable
Yeah.
because there's railroad easements
Exactly,
and
yeah.
water. So I called the lawyer up. I said, you offer him this price. He says, you're crazy. I go, no, offer him that price because it's only 2 acres, not 3 acres. So he calls me back and he goes, yeah, they went for it. And 2 other land deals that we were looking at, and I never called them. Within an hour and a half, called me and backed out also. I have a guardian angel that guides me.
Yeah.
No, I really do. I mean, it's really helped me.
Mm.
So there you have it.
That's a big story, yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
So I was supposed to build this place here. I was supposed to do it
Supposed.
here. Yeah. Yeah. I just didn't know it at the time.
Mm.
do you know who your guardian angel might be?
No, I think it's a cross between Michael. Isn't he the warrior? Actually, we're going to do some stuff on guardian angels. What do you know about guardian angels?
I'm not a big Catholic, but I don't know. They used to protect you, I guess.
He's the one with the sword.
Oh wait, is he the one that took down the devil?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
It's and those,
My mom's a
and
big
why
fan.
do we always put wings on the angels? What kind of artistic thing was that? And I'm researching halos right now too. What's that all
Past
about?
halos, the ones that get skinnier.
Oh
or
no,
bigger.
no. What about square halos? You know what those are about?
I've
I
never
just
seen
found that out.
those.
Square halos means you're still alive and you're a holy person. So they got square halos around pictures of St. Francis and Assisi. I just found that out on Rick Steves.
What happens when he passes away?
Then they get the round halo.
I'm curious.
It's kind of amazing. I mean, like, where did this iconography come from? I mean, there's a whole language. Now you have to understand, this is the way the religion was taught through the icons, because few people read and wrote. If you were a cleric, you read and you write. Oh, who's this?
Yeah, that's my mom. But
Oh, is it your mom? Oh, all right, all
I
right.
forgot about it. Yeah, I
All
remember
right.
that.
So I mean, the church really controlled knowledge, and if you think about it, it wasn't until like Gutenberg, like Gutenberg started the printing press. It wasn't for the Bible. It wasn't the
Yeah.
Bible.
Oh yeah.
It was because he missed the merchant fair
Yeah.
in the city by a year. So he started printing calendars, and that wasn't a big seller because nobody could read the calendars. But the Bible was. And then that's how he made his money on the Bible. Oh, wait a minute. Are we still making money on the Bible? Yeah, maybe. Well, that's another story. Another time. So, anyways, yeah. So what were we talking about? What was the question?
Most of this was. Ooh, we started with why'd you pick Greensboro spot?
Right. So we decided, actually, when my job ran out in 1986, Kathy and I made a very conscious decision to stay in Greensboro. And it was really for about 3-4 reasons. Number one, we owned a house by that time. Number two, we had good schools for our son, who was 4 or 5 then. Also, I had a studio, which was over in Washington Street. It was a small place, but it was a space. Also, we saw resources here that we had built over the 9 years of just people and family, friends that became like family. And we said, okay, these are important, and maybe more important than the job. And it actually worked out that way. So, and this is the same reason why Greensboro is now starting to retain the youth that are graduating from the universities. They're finding they can buy a house here. They can have a stake, they can build equity. It's not necessarily a job that keeps them here, it's a house.
That's true.
And, so that's all part of it. Hi.
You're supposed to meet us.
No, okay, she can wait. Here, come on, you can sit. This is, okay.
Join us. You can stop and do another one if you want.
Huh?
You can stop and start another one.
All right, what else?
All right, let's see. I'm curious. So when you left the college job, what job did you get then?
Well, I worked in the studio for almost a year, and I made sculptures. And here again, this is the paradox of life and my guardian angel again. I made 3 sculptures, and I got unemployment for 6 months, and I called it my arts grant. And it really was. I mean, it sustained me for 6 months. Well, after 6 months, we weren't bringing enough money in the studio, so I took a job at the zoo, and I worked there for about 6 years. Now, during that time, I got a call from Australia, and they were interested in 2 of the sculptures that I made while I was in my unemployment arts grant. And they got shipped to Australia to the Expo 88. So I didn't have any idea how big a deal it was until they sent me the catalog, and there's Jean Tingerly in it, and Henry Moore, and it was like the who's who of sculpture. And yeah, that was really insane. So in '89, I called them up and I said, guys, that was back in the days where it was like, hello, hello, there's a little interruption. And I go, yes, mate, we hear you, you know, and you're kind of shouting back there, well, you're a long ways away, yes, but we can hear you. So anyway, they says, hold on a minute, I think we bought them. So here I was, a person that lost my job teaching, turned around, became a designer at the zoo, and in the meantime became an international artist, showing and sold in Australia. So we all went to Australia for 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Yeah, well, it takes about, a
Yeah.
plane trip and everything. So we got to see Ayers Rock, and we visited the fair was already over, but we still visited the area and the dealer. And that, again, there was a real lesson in, you keep working away at what you're doing and things will happen.
Sure.
You stay committed to your passion. So that was my other guardian angel, guardian angel of sales. That was kind of cool. We had to figure out the international taxes. Yeah. Oh yeah.
There we go. Get the whole thing.
Well, get this. The dollar was low at the time, so we actually made more money.
Oh wow.
It was only, it was. I think
That's cool.
the Australian dollar, I think, was $1.10.
Oh,
But still.
that's something.
So yeah, no, there was a good And then in '93 we reached a point where I was spending more money having people work in my studio while I'm at work, and it was time to let the zoo job go.
Yeah.
So '93 we went full time, and it was a little struggle. And by '96, '97 we had our first employee. Until then, there were about 4 other artists that we all were real close with, and we would all share labor. So like, I'm doing an installation, they would come and help me, and I said, well, let me pay you. To go, no, I got an installation in a month, you help me with that, or bring your truck, or I need your equipment, you know what I'm saying? So we kind of did this whole swap back and forth. It was really great. And any business gets started, it was basically a shoestring.
That's awesome. All right, I think I'll ask you one more. And I'm just curious about this myself. Did you ever enter your sculptures into like any art contests, or did you win anything, or were you in? I could see a couple magazines over there. Are those some of what you've been featured in?
Yeah. Well, the O. Henry magazine did a whole thing on us. In fact, they're getting ready to do another story on us. We let me show you something. Bring the camera with you.
Sorry.
Go right ahead.
Outside.
No, do you want
One other thing we do, we show work all over the country. And these are all the sculptures. You can see some of these are in the yard right now. This one's at the powder coater right now. And what we do is, you can see this is in Orlando. This is in Chicago. That's getting ready to get picked up from Chicago when the new piece will be going there. So we have about 40 pieces in rotation around the country. And sometimes we get prizes, sometimes we don't. But every time we move these, we get anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000. So we can start adding up. So this is like a whole nother business that we do. But we see this as publicity because people see my work and they go, who was that guy that made that great bench that, boy, we need one for the children's area, you know. Yeah. So this is out at the airport right now.
Oh
They're
yeah.
lit up, yeah.
I've seen those, yeah.
This is out at the airport and this one's out at the airport too.
I've seen
So,
those, yeah.
yeah.
I've seen them.
So if they get in a show, they come out and they get rotated and we do them over again.
Okay.
So that gives you some idea of what we, and you can see a lot of the model work that we have. For example, see some of the benches up there. You know the yellow bench you were looking at? This was like first model with that idea. In fact, we need to make that. The other one just did the half one. I forget what that model is. Then these, have you been, do you know about Reedsville?
I think so. I think I know what those are.
Yeah, well, this is a bus stop.
I think
This is for a bus stop. And we did a light tower for Reedsville. And it's very similar to that. We did like the big tobacco plant and it all lights up at night. So anyways, so we do lots of model work. And like right now, this is a model that we're working on for an eagle. So I've never made an eagle, so I have to understand the
body structure.
Yeah, that's right. And once you have that, then we have the proportions. By the way, we get the dividers out here.
Oh,
we
whoa.
start to see, this is a big set. So you start to see the length of the feather, the joint.
Yeah.
There is an actual proportion there. I mean, length of my arm to,
Oh yeah.
okay? And we can actually do it body-wise too. Yeah. But anyways, but again, you want to learn how to draw where you learn that sense of proportion. That's your eyes.
That's true.
Did you make that painting?
No, that's my son's. That's my son's painting.
What
He
is-
hates it and I love it.
What does he do?
Oh, he's an artist also. He's an artist out in Portland, Oregon. He does photography and he does. Oh, did you see the show that was in Green Hill?
I might have. What is it?
He had the meat, the trap under. Maybe you didn't see that, or he had the rocks that were all paper,
I might
but
have
it looked just like a rock. But he takes digitally photographs it and then folds the paper until it is completely. It looks just like the rock, and you can't tell. So I've said he's really invented three-dimensional photography. And my daughter, this is my daughter's work. She's out in Kansas City and she works there as full-time artists. They're both full-time artists.
Wow.
Awesome.
So I don't know why. Yeah.
And also, so I love that. The origami fish. hanging
Oh
out.
yeah, he's an origami master. Yeah.
Those are-
No, he really is. He went to Japan thinking he was going to learn more origami, and he wound up teaching origami to the
Taught them.
Japanese. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, no, he's a real master of it. Yeah. But, okay. What else?
Does anyone
Will
else
this
have any
conclude?
personal questions
Do I have to sign something that you
don't
did
think
this?
so.
Actually, I
No.
have one question.
Yeah.
What is that?
Which?
That right there, that picture.
Oh, the guy exposing himself? Okay. Believe it or not, that's a sculpture in Portland, Oregon. And he later became the mayor of Portland, Oregon. Yes, yes. And it was one of, this came out in the 70s, Expose Yourself to Art. So,
Oh, okay.
Hilarious.
got it?
Yeah.
Okay. It's really fun. And You've been to the Gateway Gardens, haven't you?
I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, this is what the little gateway there. And anyways,
You didn't do anything out of the children's museum, did you?
yeah, we made the brick press for them.
I
Yeah.
used to love that place when I was little.
Yeah, no, we didn't buy anything else there. They should really buy one of my benches there.
They should.
Yeah,
Be great
I don't know if they can afford it, but that's another story. Okay.
Is that your owl?
No, that was Titus, the orthopedic surgeon who had eagles and owls, and we did some work for him. And he came to one of our iron pours, and he brought his pet owl, and the owl poses with people. I kid you not. You see how he poses?
Yeah.
And he's there with a camera. He says, "Here, puts the owl next to him." And the owl kind of does this, and they take the picture. And so we saved it. I thought that was great. He's out in Manhattan, Kansas now, and he likes to rabbit hunt with an eagle.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing.
Well, the jackrabbits out there weigh about 10 pounds. Well, after you have about 3 of them, you got 30 pounds. So he had to get a horse so he could fly. This guy was really fun to work with. I think he's getting his helicopter's license so he can go from clinic to clinic. Well, out there, doctors are rare and scarce. So
That's true.
anywhere you can get to or get a doctor to. So he says, "Yeah, I sold my practice in Reedsville," and he flew out there.
Insane.
Yeah, really fun. So you can see I've started the drawings on our guardian angel.
You drew your guardian angel?
Huh?
You started drawing your guardian angel?
Yeah, we're working on an idea for abstract guardian angel. So we're starting. I don't know if how we're gonna deal with it yet. It's just a little too. But you can see we're starting the eagle.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of, so start with the drawings. The drawings. That's the secret. It's the secret nobody wants to do because it's hard.
It is hard.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of classes.
And I have 3D thinker, so I don't see it in a flat plane. I see it in a round plane.
Oh, so that's yeah.
Right.
Wouldn't that make it easier in sculpting?
For me, it's easier to do. You put a pile of clay there, I could sculpt your
Like I can
face.
see it
When you
in
get a piece
drawing,
of
but
paper
in
drawing your
sculpting it should be
3D.
like easier.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
see, in drawing, you're doing
Drawing,
tricks. You're doing,
Exactly.
you're dealing with illusion. You're dealing with.
Perspective.
I'm looking at perspective. I'm dealing with real space.
Exactly,
You're
yeah.
looking at real space.
Mhm.
So I had a real hard time with drawing. I still do. I still draw as much as possible.
I also wanted to know about that painting out there.
Oh, Brian Hibbard did that while we were working on the 9/11. By the way, these are the models for the 9/11 project.
Oh, wow.
So what you can see
Buy
out
a
there
model.
right now is this one, and that's going to be hopefully reassembled over in Country Park. And the big steel back there, we were going to make this, but I don't know
Wow.
if we can do it. This is just,
That is awesome.
yeah, this is just, you can see the scale on that. It's just too huge.
It's a person model.
Yeah, that's the right scale too. So you can see how big this one is.
Yeah.
And this one's 55
Yeah, that
feet
one's
tall.
massive.
Yeah. So this may be beyond all of our expenses.
This
so.
is like the biggest thing you've had, or like I see.
Actually, have you been to Raleigh?
Yeah.
Do you know the Fayetteville Plaza?
Maybe.
In the very center of town? You know where Fayetteville Street is, right?
Yeah, but I.
Do you know where the Marriott is there?
Yes.
There's a big plaza in front there.
I think I might know about this.
That was you.
The big towers.
Yes. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. 4 giant towers.
Yeah. I've
They're
seen it.
65 feet tall. You
Mhm.
know, that's ours.
Is that bigger than that one? That the one?
That's only 55. This will only be 55. This probably won't be though.
So the other ones are bigger, like
Oh,
taller.
yeah. Yeah, that was a massive project.
I can tell.